So to get started on this duster cardigan, we're going to first grab our category 3 yarn, start off with a slip knot, and I'm going to be grabbing my 6mm hook, and we're going to start off by making a chain the length of the duster cardigan that we want. So I measured mine to be from the top of my shoulder down to my calf, but I will be adding some inches on the bottom of that due to shrinkage, so I'm going to do a total of 50 inches. And for this cardigan, I'm actually not using the recommended hook for this category yarn, and that's because I want this to be a little bit looser and I want it to flow a little bit more when you wear it. But I'm actually going to stop here. I'm going to do the full 50 inches off to the side, off camera, on my own time, because that's going to take way too long. But once we have our inches, 50 inches, however long yours is, all you're going to do is block off that last loop, chain up one, and then you're going to insert your hook into that loop that we blocked off with a single crochet or the second loop from the hook. And then we're going to be putting one single crochet into every loop that we have going all the way down our chain. So we just got done doing our first row of single crochet, and next we're going to be working on a new stitch that we're going to do a split single crochet now. So what we're going to do is chain up one, flip our work, and then it's basically going to be a back post double crochet, but a back post single crochet. So really quickly, as you can see, there's two loops there's two loops right next to our first single crochet. There's one right here and then one right here, and that's just where we're going to be going into. So we're going to insert our hook into that loop right behind it, and then we're going to bring it through just like that. And then this is what the top should be looking like. And from here we're going to single crochet just like normal. So let's do that one more time. We're going to insert our hook behind the next single crochet and then bring it on the other side and single crochet. So this split single crochet is going to be the crochet that we do for the remainder of this back portion. And just a really quick tip, when I was trying to figure out how to do this, when you insert your hook behind the first single crochet, there's actually two loops on the other side that you can go into. I don't know if you can see that. There's one right here and then one right underneath it, right there. And you're going to want to go through the top one and make sure that you don't switch it up, otherwise your stitching will look a little wonky. So just make sure that you're going through the same loop. So I mean, there's not a wrong one, just pick one and then stick with that. But we're going to keep doing this for the remainder of the back. I don't have that measurement for that yet in this clip, but I'll let you know in the next clip, and I'll show you what to do from there. Just to show you guys really quickly, this is what our work is looking like once we have just one row of our split single crochet. And then just to show you guys how to work our way up to the next row and every other row after that, we're going to chain up one, flip your work, and we're going to continue doing split single crochets, and we're going to keep going behind the single crochet post that we have. And then this is going to be what it is. So what it's going to look like, I have a little bit done already, is this. As you can see, we have some really nice ridging, and it has an effect that kind of looks like knitting, which is great because I absolutely cannot get knitting down to save my life. We're going to keep doing this for the length of our back piece. And yes, this is a new stitch that we are doing together. This is the split single crochet that a new friend that we made off Instagram taught me. Their name is Yeah Crochet. I will leave their Instagram link in the description. They are super kind and they make really cute stuff on their page, so go ahead and check them out and show them some love. So I just got done doing my entire back panel, as you guys can see, and just to let you guys know, from one end all the way down to the next end, I have 16.5 inches, but this is going to depend on whatever you guys need. So once we have the entire back portion done, now we're going to start working on the bottom border. So as you can see, I have inserted my hook and chained up one, but if you guys didn't cut and tie, then you guys will just kind of go as is. But now that we're in this corner, all we're going to do is flip our work. And the first row that we have to do is just a row of single crochet that goes all the way across to this other corner. And there's not going to be any real loops for us to go into. So try to just make it as even as possible, making sure that you're not putting too many single crochet in a section, otherwise it'll bunch up. So now that we've single crocheted all the way across, now we're going to start working on the bulk of our bottom border. But really quickly, I did switch out from the, what was this? I think this was a 6mm hook. And I did switch out to the recommended 4mm hook since we are using a category 3 yarn. But just so that the bottom border isn't too flimsy, because this is kind of thick and sturdy already. But you guys don't have to if you don't want to. This is just my own preference. It'll end up looking the same anyways. But with that knowledge, from here I'm going to want my bottom border to be a little bit thick. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by making a chain of around 3 inches. And then now that I have my 3 inches, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to block off that last chain that we made. I'm going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet and put 1 double crochet into the loop that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into every loop going back down our chain. So we've double crocheted once into every loop going all the way down, and now we're just going to connect it to the base. So what we're going to do is count up 2 loops, not counting the one that we're currently in. So not this one, we're going to count up 1, 2, insert our hook into that second one with a slip stitch. And then to work our way up to the next row, we're going to slip stitch up the next 2 loops. Here's 1, here's 2. We're going to flip our work. And from here, we're going to automatically prepare for a double crochet, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet into every loop that we have going down this row, but only going in through the back loops. So we typically go in through 2 loops like that, but we're just going to be going in through the back loop only for every double crochet loop that we have. And then once we get to the end, we're going to chain up 3 to work our way up to the next row, and then continue doing back loop double crochets until we get to the end. Once when you get to the end, count up 2, slip stitch into the second one, and then slip stitch up the next 2 to work our way up to the row after that. And then we're going to keep doing that pattern all the way down. So, as all of you babes can see, we are almost done doing our bottom border, and I actually just have 1 more loop left, so it's a little uneven for me. This may not happen to everyone, but just as a really quick tip, if you just have 1 loop left like me, and you don't know what to do, we can just chain up 1, flip our work, and then just do a row of back loop single crochets just to make sure that this loop doesn't get left out. So this is all the same. We're just doing back loop single crochets instead of double crochets just to fill in that last loop. And then once we get to the end, we're going to cut and tie, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So we just got finished doing the bottom border, and this is what it's looking like. Pretty self-explanatory. And then when we have this, we're just going to do 1 row of single crochet on the other side along the top, going back to our bigger, hook, going back to our 6mm hook, and we're just going to do the same type of row of single crochet going all the way across. And then we're going to do the front panels, which is basically the exact same thing, but I'll talk to you a little bit about that once we're done doing the single crochet row. So this is what our back panel should be looking like. This is the single crochet row that we just did, and this is where the top is, where our shoulders are going to be. And then this is the bottom border, and we're actually going to do this entire sequence 2 more times, but not this entire chunk, obviously. For the front panels, it's just going to be whatever size you guys need, just to cover the front of you. But we are going to leave a little bit out because we are going to do a front border as well. But go ahead and make that piece. Within the next clip, I will show you, but I'll tell you guys what size I have as well. So we just got done doing our entire front panel, and from one side to the next, I have a total of 5 inches, while keeping in mind we still will have a border along the side as well. And then I went ahead and did the bottom border of back loop double crochets, and then also the top border of just regular single crochets. But once when we're here, we're actually going to connect it. We're not going to cut and tie. We're going to connect it to the big back piece that we currently have. And let's unravel, unfold. And then we're just going to place this top border on top of the back border. And then I know that this first row looks kind of icky, but it's going to even out and look a lot better once we put in our, front border. But that'll be later. But we're just going to place it on top of the back border, and we're going to align the 2 corners. And from here, since our hook is already through one corner, we're going to insert it through the corner of the back portion. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook, and then chain up one to secure. And from here, we're just going to connect it while our seam is going to be on the outside. So we're going to insert our hook in through the first loop of the back border and then in through the first loop of our front panel. And then we're just going to single crochet everything together. Let's do that one more time. So insert your hook in through the next loop of the back, into the next loop of the front panel, single crochet together. And then we're going to keep doing this until we don't have any more front panel to work into. Go ahead and cut and tie. So we just got done connecting the front and the back by the shoulder portion, and now we're going to be connecting the side, and we're going to want to measure out how much space we need for the sleeve. And my sleeves are going to be a little bit bigger with a little bit of a bat wing going on. So from the top of the shoulder down to where I have my stitch marker, I have 10 inches. And then from there, we're going to single crochet everything closed, just like how we did the shoulders. And then I'm also going to leave a little bottom slit for myself, so I'm not going to be going into this at all. So I went ahead and measured out what I have, and from the bottom of the arm to the top of the slit, I have 16 inches. And once we have that, we're going to insert our hook in through one of the loops, making sure that it goes in through both sides. And we're going to pull our yarn through, chain up one to secure. And then from here, it's going to be the same as the shoulder. So really quickly, we're just going to insert our hook into the next loop on one side, into the same loop, but on the other side or the front panel. And then we're just going to single crochet everything closed. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way until we get to our next stitch marker. And then once we get there, we're going to cut and tie. And then once when everything is connected, at this point, you're going to want to try it on and then measure out how long you want your sleeves to be. Mine are going to be long sleeves, so right at my wrist. And whatever that measurement is, you are going to want to take into account that this will shrink a little bit. So I'm going to take my category 6, no, I'm going to take my 6mm hook and my category 3 yarn, the same one that I'm using, and I'm going to go ahead and make that measurement, and then I'll show you guys what to do from there. So once we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain. Chain up one, go ahead and put one single crochet into that loop that we blocked off, or the second chain from the hook. And then as you guys can see, I already have a marker somewhere in my chain, and this is where I want our cuff to start. So using our 6mm hook, we're just going to put one single crochet into every loop until we get to that chain, and then we're going to be switching out for the 4, but I will show you how to do that once we get there. So we put a single crochet into every loop until we've gotten down to our marker. So all we're going to do, pretty simple, is take out our 6 and then insert in our 4, and then we can go ahead and take out our marker for now. Don't put that too far away. And then from here, we're actually going to go in with slip stitches. So all we're going to do is yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. And then we're going to continue doing slip stitches all the way down until we get to the other side of the chain. But we just did 2 slip stitches, and we're not going to want to lose our place because it could be a little easy. So we're just going to count out 2 and insert our stitch marker into where that first one was, just so that we can continue on with this pattern correctly. So go ahead and put 1 slip stitch into the rest of the chain using your 4mm hook. Once when you get to the end, we're going to chain up 1 and come back, but I'll show you guys how to do that. So doing our slip stitches, all we're going to do is insert our hook in through the back loop only, yarn over, pull through both. And then doing it this way, we're going to get a different type of ridging than the rest of the sleeve, but still very, very pretty. And we're just going to keep doing this until we reach the marker, like I said. And then we're going to do, what are they called? Split single crochets all the way down. Once you reach the bottom, chain 1 and keep going. And I'm actually going to keep going until I need to increase. And I'm going to increase once when I reach my 5th row. So once we reach our 4th row-ish, I'll meet you back. So we're just about to start our 5th row. As you guys can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 is going to be the next row. And like I said, we're going to do an increase. And quick tip, we're only going to be doing an increase on the side where we do our split single crochet. These back loop slip stitches are going to be our cuff, and we're not going to need to do anything to this side. So we're only, keep moving you guys. So we're only going to need to do an increase over here. So all that is chain up 1, flip your work. And then into this first loop that we have, all we're going to do is put 2 of these split single crochets into the same one. So here's 1. That's our first. And then 2. and that's our increase. And then from here we're going to continue doing our split single crochets all the way down. When you get to the end, just do our regular back loop slip stitches. And I'm only going to be increasing into every 5th row, so 5, 10, 15, 20. And I'll show you guys right now how many loops you guys would need to do. So if you guys take a look at what we have already done, it's basically just a vest right now. But as you guys can see, this is where our armhole is going to, well, this is our armhole. But we're just going to count on one side how many loops that we have. So from here to here. And for me, I have 35 on one side and I have 35 on another. And we're only going to be working into the first half because we're going to be making the same piece, but 4 times. And then we're going to connect them later. So we're going to count out and see how many loops that we have. Like I said, I have 35 and I'm only going to be increasing into every 5th until I reach row number 20. And this is going to be on you. I'm only doing that because if I keep increasing, then it's going to come to a point. And I don't really want that because I want this to be seamless. So I'm going to keep increasing until I get to 20. And then right after that, I'm not going to do anything after that. No increases, no decreases, just so the end will be blunt. But I'll remind you guys once when we get there. So I have the first little bit of my sleeve done. I have rows 1 through 20 while increasing into every 5th row. If you look closely, then you can see the little increases here. But don't worry if it doesn't look like it's increasing enough. Once when you put it on, it'll stretch out a little bit. But from here, we're just going to be doing regular rows of whatever this is. So split single crochets and then back loop, what is this? Slip stitches for the rest of the sleeve. And like I said, I need 35 rows. So I'm going to keep doing this for another 15 because I have 20 here. So once when we finally have all of the rows that we need in order to fill out one side of our sleeve, the next thing that we have to do is just do a row of single crochet all the way down just so that it's easier to connect to the body portion. And there's not going to be any real loops, so go ahead and just put one in there. But make sure that however many single crochet that you have here, you make sure that you have the same amount of loops on your body portion. So like I said, I have 35 rows here because I have 35 loops on the body portion. So doing the single crochets, I'm just going to make sure that I have 35 single crochets going all the way down as well. And once when you get to the end, cut and tie, and then do all of this technically 3 more times. So we just got done doing both of our sleeves and we finished it up doing a row of single crochet on both. And now we're going to connect it to the body portion. So as you guys can see, I have connected both front panels. Here's one and here's the next. And we're just going to take one sleeve and set it aside for now. And how we're going to connect the first sleeve. We're first going to lay our sleeve down on top of the hole that we have because we're going to sandwich it this way so that our seam is facing out, just like how this seam is right here. So once when we have that laid down that way, we're going to insert our hook in through one loop and then our hook in through the second loop. So our hook is going through the sleeve and the body. Grab our yarn, make a slip knot, pull that through our sleeve, and then we're going to chain up 1 to secure. And then to continue all the way down, we're going to make sure that our hook goes in through the sleeve once and then in through the next loop that we have for the body. And then we're just going to single crochet that together. And we're going to keep doing this all the way down until we get to the tip of the shoulder part. So basically until we don't have any more sleeve left. But we're not going to cut and tie because we're going to introduce the other side of the sleeve. But I will show you guys how to do that because that one's going to lay a little bit differently. So I just single crocheted all the way to the end, and now we're going to introduce our next part of the sleeve. So all we're going to do is just flip this over. As you can see, this is clean, but that's not what we're worried about right now. Now we're going to grab our other sleeve and then we're just going to lay it down this way, so on top of the other sleeve that we have, and then we're going to turn our work. And then if you need to, you may need to take your hook out and then readjust. So all I'm going to do is insert my hook in through this loose sleeve that we have and then grab the working yarn that we have and then just put that onto our hook and then pull that through. But we're doing it this way so that the seam that we have will also be on the side that we're currently working in, so that once we flip it around, it'll be clean just like how this one is. But from here, it's going to be the same thing. So go ahead and insert your hook into this corner. Insert your hook into the first loop that we have on this side of our body piece. And then just single crochet everything together. And then once when we get to the end, we're going to work our way and connect the 2 bottom pieces together. And if you guys can do it, go for it. But if not, then I'll show you guys how to do it as well. So we have single crocheted all the way around, and now we're going to connect the bottom pieces. And it's going to be the same thing, but right before we go straight into the sleeve. But all I'm going to do is go in through right before the sleeve, so into the body portion with a single crochet. Because if you don't, could be a little gap right here, and I don't want that. But we're just going to single crochet that like usual. And then from here, we're going to continue on with the same pattern that we were doing. And once we get to the end, we are going to cut and tie, and then we're going to connect the top part. But the top part is going to be a little bit different, so I'll show you guys how to do that once we get there. So I just got done connecting the entire bottom piece, and now I'm going to connect this top piece. And like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. Still going to be the single crochet stuff that we were doing, but we're going to be going into what I am going to be calling the outside loops. So we're going to grab our yarn, make a slip knot, and then we're going to take a look at what we currently have. And then obviously there's going to be 2 loops that we typically go into, but instead of going in through both loops, and I can't say back loops either because it's not going to be this one and this one, it's just going to be the outside loop. So this loop that's on the outside right here, and then this loop that's on the outside right here, those are the loops that we're going to be going into. And we're going into those so that we have this ridging effect that matches the top part. So into the first loop, we're just going to go into right where the seam is, just so we don't have a gap. Insert our yarn, pull through, and then we're going to take a look at our first loop, and we're going to be going into the outside loop. So this is our first outside loop. We're going to take a look at this other side of this. We're going to take a look at this other side of the sleeve, and we're going to insert our hook into the outside loop there. And all we're going to do is single crochet that together. And then that is one. We're going to do this a couple more times. So into the first outside loop, into the next loop that we have. So here's one. And then the next loop that we have is this one right here. And we're going to go into that outside loop. And we're going to single crochet that together. And then that's all we're going to be doing. We're just going to do that all the way until we get to the end. Once we get to the end, go ahead and cut and tie. And I know that once we get to the cuffs, it's going to be a little bit harder since we're working with our 6mm hook, and these loops were made with a 4mm, but just go with it. It'll look fine. It'll just take a little bit. And then once we have that, we're going to go ahead and connect our other sleeve as well. So once we have our sleeves all attached, one of the last things that we have to do is do a border around the front panel. And in order to do that, that's basically gonna be like our bottom border, just not as thick. So we're gonna grab our category, not our category, our 4mm hook, our same category 3 yarn, but I'm sure you guys already knew. We're gonna insert our hook in through one of these corners, and then we're gonna make a chain as long as you guys want your front panel border to be. I'm gonna make a chain for about 1.5 to 2 inches. Once we have our chain, we are going to block off that last chain that we did. We're going to chain up 3. This counts as a double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet, and then double crochet once into that loop that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into every loop, going all the way back down the chain. So we put 1 double crochet into every loop that we had going back down our chain, and we're just going to connect it to the base. And it's going to be the same exact way, but I'll show you guys one more time super quickly. We're going to take a look and see the look that we're in. We're not going to count that loop, but we're going to count up 1, 2. Insert your hook into that second loop with a slip stitch. And then in order to work our way up to the next loop, we're going to slip stitch up the next 2. Flip our work. Prepare for a double crochet, and then put 1 double crochet into every back loop that we have. And then once we get to the end, we're going to chain up 3, double crochet into the back loop coming back towards the base is what we're going to call it, or the front panel. And then we're going to slip stitch it into the front panel, slip stitch up 2, and then keep going back and forth like this all the way up until we get to the neck right here. Once we're done doing the front panel border all the way up, I'm just going to show you guys how to connect it really quick, and it's going to be the same way that we've connected everything so far. You're just going to want to make sure that all the seams are facing the same direction, so once when we flip it out, it looks nice and clean on the other side. But from here, we're just going to count out, see how many loops that we have on the front panel, and then we're going to count out, see how many loops we have on the back, and then we're just going to insert our hook in through that same loop, going to yarn over, pull through. And then from here, we're just going to insert our hook in through the first loop into this front panel border, and then into the same loop but going in through the back, and then single crochet it together. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way down. Once we reach the end, we're going to go ahead and cut and tie. And then as you guys can see, I already have over the other side done, but you guys go ahead and do the other side as well. Now once you have everything all connected, the last thing that you have to do is just weave in all of your ends. And this is our wonderful duster cardigan piece once we are all done weaving in our ends. This one was a struggle. Well, kind of a struggle. The sleeves took me a little bit to figure out, and it took 2 full balls of baby Bernat sport yarn that's linked in the description if you guys are interested. If you like this piece or any other piece on the channel, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It's right beneath the video. It lets YouTube and I know you're enjoying the videos, and it goes a long way to helping the channel grow so I can keep gaining traction. But if you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down and leave a comment letting me know why you didn't like it, or if you have any questions, want to leave a request, or if you just want to say hi. I usually reply pretty quick. If you love it, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It is also right beneath the video. It'll let you know when there's a new video uploaded to the channel, and it goes a long way to helping the channel grow so I can keep making all these great videos for you guys. If you're already subscribed, huge thanks to you guys, but please hit that notification bell to know when there's a new video uploaded for you right away, and don't forget to share with all of your crafty friends. Links to the yarn and the hooks will be in the description. If you buy using those links, that also goes towards helping out the channel. Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest links are down there as well, and as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one.